Dean. Hey everyone, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with the two greatest firefighters in the world. We do have Jason and Ryan. How y'all doing today?
What's up, fam? How's everybody?
What's up, well, thanks for having us.
The picture I used in the thumbnail was that was with Taps is on the left and I'm on, so my crotch is in there. Can't tell it's me. I just figured people should know.
Nice.
That it was me. So we had originally we had met down in design. Did we meet in 2021 or did we not meet till 2022?
I met you and Taps in 2021 at Decon in Anaheim. Took a couple pictures but we didn't hang out or anything. And then we met up last year at Decon.
That was the good stuff. I have a couple of pictures of that. Everyone really likes that picture of Taps in the firefighter's outfit. I'm pretty sure he could start an OnlyFans. Speaking of which, something I wanted to ask you guys about. Do you guys have a calendar? And we won't say where exactly, but do you guys have the? Were you in?
We cannot disclose that, huh, Jason?
Yeah.
This is how you raise. Is that how you guys raise money for the fire department? Like, is it like first responders, firefighting calendar?
There have been calendars that have been put out, but I don't think anything recently. It's not like FDNY where they do it consistently every single year.
It'd be really cool if you did, especially if you did it something with Veve. Like, here's these hot firefighters posting with their favorite Veve NFT.
Yeah, that'd be great.
That'd be awesome. So, you guys are. How long have you been firefighters for?
21 years with Los Angeles City Fire Department, and I did it for a couple years before that as a hotshot for the Forest Service. So I've been doing this line of work for about 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been in about 17 years total.
Damn. And for that, when is it 30 years you can retire, or can you? It depends on age. I don't know what's the minimum amount of years you have.
You could do, like with us, you could retire, the earliest I think is 20.
Okay.
You start getting a pension, but most guys do, at least 30, and then beyond that sometimes. Yeah.
So we've been getting a little bit of what's that called? When you have a byproduct of the Canadian forest fires. Apparently out in California, this is just like a Tuesday. Like, oh yeah, we get this smoke, we get these fires all the time. But what's the difference between the guy, I'm guessing the house fires, whether it's, houses or buildings versus like the forest stuff? Like, do you guys ever do that, or is that a whole separate division?
No, we do all sorts of fires. We do, structure fires, commercial fires, brush fires, forest fires. When the need comes, we're there.
Oh, so, but I know there's like a separate people that do those. Like, they're just specifically in the forest fires, have like dig lines and stuff.
Right.
Is that mostly comprised of you guys, or is that just someone that you guys help with?
So
we have entities like CAL FIRE that are run by the state, and so they cover the whole state of California. And then you'll have like the Forestry Service. There we go, right there.
Nice.
And
get a calendar going, Ryan.
Yeah, I'll start one once you get off this thing. And then you have like hand crews that are run. So there's different entities that only deal with brush fire. Mm-hmm. And then you have like us that are with the city. So we'll respond to any type of vegetation or brush fire in the city. And then also, if the need arises, we can go, northern of the state or southern, and handle it that way also if we're called out.
And out of the years that you guys have been doing this, how long have you guys worked together for?
It's been almost 8 years.
Yeah, we worked together. Ryan was actually my rookie in Panorama City.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then now he drives the fire engine, and we work together.
And I bossed him around.
So how true is I don't know if you've seen the movie I Now Pronounce You Chuck and Larry, where they're both firefighters, pretend to be gay for like the insurance. How true is it where they like boink heads and they're just like, all right, we're going in alive and coming out the same way? Like, do you guys have a saying? Do you guys have like a little superstition they do?
This guy does. Whenever we get a fire or we're going to a fire, he's like, "It's go time. Let's go."
That's me. I get so pumped up. I mean, I'm like, it's go time. Let's go. Let's get this.
Yeah.
But I love it. Did you see on Facebook, Randy? We had a fire last week, and actually Josh Duhamel, the actor, stopped by and literally thanked everybody.
Is that one of the biggest celebrities you've had interact with?
No, actually, he's up there. He's such a great guy. But Blake Shelton, Gwen Stefani, who else? Yeah, a whole bunch of celebrities. But
stuff with like Danny Trejo, that was cool.
Oh, I love him too.
Yeah.
Dave Grohl from the Foo Fighters stopped by and actually at our last station and made us some barbecue.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he owns a company called Backbeat Barbecue.
Really? I would not expect
the coolest guy in the world.
Yeah, I heard he's super chill.
Super amazing guy.
I went on a cruise recently. Well, it was last year. It was in December, where they had a giant like oil painting of him, but it was supposed to be like he was like Napoleon or something. It was like not like Renaissance era, but he was like on a horse and he just like I doubt he posed for it, but I don't know, to be like on a cruise, maybe he did. I don't know. He just seems so chill. He seems so fun.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
For where you guys are in the area, is there? Maybe it's like a bad comparison, but is there like, oh, this is the California version of like 9/11? This wildfire went so hard, it took us like days to like fight, or is there just like no equivalent to
that? I'd say, like, if you're comparing it to TV, you mean like what you see on TV or shows?
Are you talking about the actual 9/11?
Oh no, I was talking about the actual like 9/11, the actual like
9/11. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there are some calls that we respond to that can get very serious in nature, and but nothing that I've ever been close to anything like that.
Yeah,
on that scale.
Yeah. What about you? Same thing.
I mean, like a couple years ago, I was getting off a 72-hour shift. I had about 4 or 5 hours left of my shift because we do 24-hour shifts, and all of a sudden the Getty fire broke out. So we were there for almost a week. So I didn't get to go home for almost 10 days.
So when you do that, you just like, hey, here's your 4 hours to sleep, and then you go back. Like, how long does
there's no sleep. There's no sleep. You're shitting and getting the whole time because people's houses are burning down. So there's no sleep. When it's go time, it's go time.
For 10 days.
So I mean, usually it's calms down maybe about 2 or 3 days, but
oh my god,
then you're doing mop up after that, which takes quite some time.
So when you, and you don't have to say here, but like when you do something like that, like so in the military and basic training where we're just like trying to stay awake because we're pretty sleep deprived, we like do some really weird stuff. We're like trying to like snort hand sanitizer, like whatever's at our disposal to try to like stay awake. Is it just, and I feel like the adrenaline rush might wear off after a while, but what do you guys do to like kind of stay awake for 72 hours? That's a long time.
Yeah. Coffee.
This is my second of the day. And then I've also had a couple cups of coffee, but this is, usually we'll do about 1,200 milligrams of caffeine a day.
Did you serve? Did any of you guys serve? Because that sound like better. So we're like, yeah, we run on caffeine and anger.
No, I was never in the military, but
oh my god, and so when you guys go and do that afterwards, I don't know if it's something that maybe every now and then like the locals give you like a casserole or something. What do you guys do to like chill out, like after like, hey, we just fought this fire for like 48 hours, I need like a bag of Funyuns and a beer and a recline chair, can of dip? What do you guys veg out on?
Well, unfortunately, I mean, there's really nothing that we, when we go back to the station, we kind of decompress, clean all the tools, everything that we use, change out all the hose. But
yeah, Veve.
As far as that, yeah, Veve, honestly,
That worked, yeah, that's all we could do.
Yeah. I mean, we work out, we'll play
football, ice cream.
Yeah, eat ice cream. Last night I made some kettle corn for the guys at the station.
That's cool. Have you guys had Not Your Father's root beer?
I haven't.
No.
It's root beer, but it's alcoholic root beer. And the reason why I brought it up is because you said ice cream. I was like, oh, I had an ice cream float recently where I put Not Your Father's root beer instead of root beer, and then put some vodka in it on top of that. Oh, it's so good.
That sounds good.
Try that.
I recommend. So you guys say you do Veve to relax. On the how infectious has that been at the firehouse? I know you had that mural painted with Veve on there,
Yeah.
but how many other people have gotten in it?
Oh shoot. Well, shoot, I forgot. I first got Jason into it, and then spread like wildfire for a while. I don't know. What do you think? Maybe 15, 20 people?
Probably about 15 to 20 people. But we have a couple guys, Taco Bell workers.
The true heroes of.
But yeah, probably about 15 to 20 people. But yeah, we have one guy. He's got over between collectibles and comics. I want to say he's like about 1,500.
Oh, he's a whale. Oh, damn, he goes hard.
So he's doing good. He got in it, I think, last year, right?
Yeah.
Does he have an addictive personality? And he's just like, this is his new addiction.
There was a time frame where we were going, all of us at the table were going for every drop, and we're all excited and yelling when we got a drop or or not.
Let's get this fruit.
I love this game. When do you guys go in? I know you go superstitions. Any like religion? Like, okay, we all got to eat one carrot out of this bag of baby carrots, or do you have to go and be like, all right, we're all eating a marshmallow out of this bag of marshmallows? I sent around food if you can't tell.
It's funny that you say that, because when we play pickleball, I'll be like, this is for you, Randy Chavez, and we'll serve it. I'll be like, and then Ryan will be like, this is for you, David, you, and Yeah.
And it's really just between us as we're playing, because the other guys are just like, wait, what?
Wait, who are you talking about? Who is this Randy Chavez guy? But it's cool. It's fun. It's camaraderie. It's brings us closer together. And Ryan and I, we talk all the time, and we're buddies outside the firehouse too. So it's brought us closer together for sure.
That's great. Have they when you go to introduce Veve to someone, what video is there a go-to video? Is there a thing like, hey, here's what OMI is it something that taps an old taps video, something of mine, is something of like
Ryan's got a video that he shows everybody. Literally, we'll have some guys working sod, which is our overtime at the firehouse, and Ryan just will show this video. Ryan, you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of it's the one in the very beginning, the hype video that the guy made, where they're like, we're gonna play Veve. Remember that one? Oh, you never saw that one? I'm trying to think of the guy.
Oh, we'll send it to you. It's a hype video for Veve that came out about 2 years ago. Yeah,
it was like towards the very beginning, and it had a few of the influencers in it, and then they ended up making a second one a little bit later. I'm trying to remember. I can't remember the guy who did it though, but I'll pull that up and find it. And it's pretty good. You get all fired up after you watch it.
Yeah. And then Ryan's on the grease board, and he's like, "All right, guys." He's doing a full-on drill. He's like, "Okay, you got Veve, you got a Comey," and he goes, "Let's look at the pros and the cons." And the pros are like, brrr.
Wait, Crypto Far West. He had
that's who it is.
like WTF is Veve, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's who it was, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, he's been AWOL for a little while. We got to get him back in.
Right.
WTF is Veve Part 3.
Exactly. Especially now with all the new stuff coming out.
Yeah. So obviously Ryan, you almost have the years. Jason, you do have the years. The West says it's crazy to think OMI will retire so many people within a couple of years. Depending on how much OMI you have, that is definitely possible. When that happens, are you gonna say adios to the fire department? Are you gonna be like, oh, I've done it this long, might as well do a few more years? What's your guys' plan?
For me, my son's just going into college. So he's in a couple of months, he's off to college, and then my little girl, she's only 6. So I'm planning on doing, I don't know, maybe another 9 to 12 years, and then and then tapping out. But I mean, not many people can honestly say that they love going to work every single day. We love going to work every single day. And the thing that's so great about the fire department, and obviously there's other jobs like this too, but you don't know what the next call is going to be. It could be a fire, could be a cardiac arrest, could be another 9/11. You don't know. So, you got to be on your toes at all time. And,
I mean, do you think that, and we'll get to in a second, do you think that, hey, this job can be extraordinarily dangerous and
absolutely.
you don't know what's happening, and you think like, okay, well, I have some money with OMI now, my daughter's still very young, maybe I should step away, even though I love doing this and it's going to hurt to leave? Do you think that maybe you might have that responsibility to do that?
Yeah, I mean, it crosses my mind from time to time. It depends on, how much OMI goes up, and like you always say, you got to take profit on the way up too. So, like we were talking about earlier, I bought my first 10 million OMI for $90,000.
That is a lot,
right? Yeah.
And then, you have dollar cost average down. You did, I think, doubled your position.
Yep, I got 20 million right now.
Nice. And Ryan, what are your thoughts about potentially, like, let's say OMI does what I think it'll do, 100x's in 2 years. Do you say, heck the pension, I'm just going to retire now, or do you finish out a few years? And
yeah, for me, I'm done. I think if it hits that, I'm out. I've had fun. I've had a good run. I've gotten to see a lot of fire, help a lot of people. But at the end of the day, I just want to be, around more and with my family. And if I don't have to travel and go to work, I won't,
Yeah.
So I can be pretty smart with my money after that. So that's my take.
We got confirmation from Veve like a few minutes before we went live that they will be at San Diego Comic-Con at both New York and San Diego. They had both said, oh, hey, here's large versions of the Marvel Mighties. That's always at the Marvel booth with Veve. We have Drad saying, hold them Mighties. Is there anything, do you guys have Mighties, favorite collectibles, and why you like them?
So I have the Mighty, the little Spider-Man. That's honestly the only one that I have, but I hold number 154, like Walt and Mickey. Yeah, so I try to go for the low mints, as low as I can go, being in my price range. But, Secret Rare Luke and, the Veve, obviously Veve gold and silver logo. And yeah, so, I mean, we between Ryan and I, we got some pretty good grails. So we're happy with that. So,
yeah, I've always kind of been leaning towards the same route as Jason, is just trying to get the most scarce, most popular thing I can get. So I like the Mighties. I just haven't gotten into them as much as maybe I could have. Most of my money's gone towards the bigger stuff, the grails.
I feel you. I have I got super lucky with the gold and silver logo. It happened to be number 41.
Yeah, you did. That's awesome.
I'll get more as time goes on, especially as OMI goes up. But that's kind of my fear also. I have that addictive personality where, hey, once we have OMI to NFT or OMI to gem or whatever it is, I'm going to be using that. And I do have a fear of spending it all. It's very hard to. You guys might know. You guys know Wet Wizard?
Yeah, I've seen him around.
Yeah, he's he had the number, I think, 43 or 46. He had a really super low mint Secret Rare Spider-Man, and he had the number 41 Mother's Day stamp, that ultra rare. He wound up getting 100,000 for both in gem.
Oh.
And so this was like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Or almost that. He wound up selling it for that much, or when it was at its height, and he spent it all. He's like, yo, I wanted to go and cash out, but there's so many good deals. And that's like my fear is like, I always gonna go to the moon. I'm gonna have a bunch on the app, and I just spend it all. Do you guys have that worry that like, hey, this is found money, and I'll be a little? I know Ryan, you said you were good with it. What about you?
You know what? I mean, right now being in a bear market, Everything's down. So, hopefully once the bull market hits, pretty good about, saving my money and, and trying to stack as many things as I can. But, yeah, I mean, 2 years ago, you'd buy something and all of a sudden you'd see it just, shoot to the moon. It like 10X, overnight. You're like, what is happening?
I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this next bull run plays out, because, when we all got into this, it was such a new thing, and figured 3 years later, with so much more awareness of the space and, the improvements to the app and the time that everyone's had to kind of stack and get the pieces they wanted, it could get really exciting these next couple of years with just the collectibles. That's not even OMI side, So, I mean, one collectible could put you in partial retirement. You never know.
That's a good point. Jason, you're talking about the secret rare Luke. What min number is that?
Number 475. I just bought it.
I mean, they're all really good mint numbers because there's only like 500 of them.
Yeah. So I was watching it. I had a chance to buy it at 900. Not that same mint number, but I had a chance to buy it at 900, and then I didn't pull the trigger on it, and then it just kept doing this. So I'm just like, what? So I pulled the trigger at 2200.
I hate it when that happens. Like when you step on the scale, you expect it to stop at a certain number, and the needle just keeps going.
Yep.
Had that as of late. I've been trying to eat a lot, and so I've been working out a lot. I've been eating a lot, but I feel like I've been eating more than I need to, and it's just been going wide ways.
I think that's all of us.
Yeah, it's hard not to.
Happens when you get older. Have you guys had the opportunity to see the Apple eyeglasses that they're coming out with, like the Apple headset?
Oh yeah, I think it's pretty cool. It's obviously their first iteration, but it's just going to open the doors wide open to things like Veve and beyond. And Apple, they're always going to put out a clean working product no matter what. So that's what's nice to know. Versus like Oculus, it's great, but I think it's going to, be a lot better than Oculus for sure.
Yeah, 100%. They have a lot of money that they could just throw at it. I was talking. So David had I think I had asked him, or somebody had asked David recently on a stream, saying, "Hey," it was one of those questions like, "Hey, what are the odds of like Disney buying Veve?" And he said, "Well, I think, if someone were to buy Veve, if we were to sell it, far in the future, it would be a much larger company. Because if Disney tries to buy it, DC might have a little, might be iffy about being on there, being owned by Disney. But there's a scenario which I brought up to David last year, and it was this thing: if we have, let's say we have Disney that's worth about $163 billion right now, and most likely they'll be worth another 100 billion on top of that in the next 7 years. But let's say they're not. Let's say you have the anti-Disney, the anti-woke crowd let's say that gets bigger and the pendulum swings all the way to the other side. And you have, let's say DeSantis and whatever becomes president, and there's like this war with Disney going on, and Disney's market cap goes down over the next 7 years, while OMI rises to the top, and suddenly OMI's at like, $1.50, or let's just say $1 towards the end of the decade. And then you have David and Dan, which are suddenly worth tens of billions of dollars each. They go and they start selling the OMI, they sell a piece of Veve, and they're able to buy like a third or even like 40% of Disney stock. There's a potential that David and Dan could own a significant enough amount, and they maybe at the time Disney would be so fed up with CEOs, they get to other people on the board, and Veve could acquire Disney. And now it's most likely not going to happen, but in that scenario, the more likely scenario is that, and David said, "Let's do it." I think he was joking. I was pretty drunk at the time. I couldn't really tell, but there's a scenario that Apple buys both Disney and Veve. How would you guys feel about that? What is the thoughts on if we go to a major corporation like that?
I think it'd be great, but I don't see it happening. I believe David and Dan when they say they've done well for themselves and this is a passion thing, and it's hard to say what they'll do, but I think it'll be around with them for a long time.
Yeah, I mean, same thing. I mean, meeting David and Dan at Decon, it was surreal, number one, but they're the nicest guys, and just seeing the passion. I mean, what other company can you go to something like Decon and meet the CEO and the COO of the company? You really can't, right? And just to see the passion and just to talk with them. So this is their baby, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for them. But as far as Apple or Disney buying out Veve, I think it'd be amazing.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, I know this. They can't do this forever. I don't think they would want to do it forever. But they're having fun right now. They're traveling all over the place. Let's go to Japan. Let's go to. It's like a Hillary Duff song. London, Paris, maybe Tokyo.
Yeah.
They're having a lot of fun. They're in Tokyo right now. They're about to leave. What's something that you want to see on the app that's not there yet?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of things that I want to see.
One thing I want to see is the improvement to the interaction between everybody. The offers, the quicker, the faster communication back and forth, maybe trades, things like that. That'll make it a little more interesting, exciting interaction between everyone. That's all.
Yeah, the communication feed. If you send a message to somebody, hey, will you take $2,100 for this? If they message you back, you got to literally sit there and scroll through everything to try to find that message again. To me, it's so annoying. I'm like, dude, where is this message at?
DMs would be great. DMs would be a lot better.
Oh yeah.
So maybe you wouldn't want me to do this, but I always say like, hey, at whoever, message me on Twitter, and because I don't want to take attention away from the app, but like you said, it's like impossible to find people in messages.
Yeah, no, it's true. And it'll probably work better. I mean, so especially because I've had it happen where I message somebody and then, people are like, oh, you're talking about Walt Mickey, or you're talking about Secret Rare Luke, and then they jump on, and I've actually had people snipe the items from me because of that. So I think Twitter would be a better thing to do.
Yeah. When they have DMs, that'll be better.
Yeah.
Ryan, do you have any?
What are you looking forward to on the app?
Well, I guess Veveverse is going to be separate, so I don't know if that counts. If we're doing offers, it would be. We would like to have offers. Like if somebody has something for sale and it's for a ridiculous amount, but you want to buy it, whatever it is, hey, I'll offer you this. I do definitely see some of the cons with that would be like someone who gets absolutely sloshed one night and be like, oh, they're offering me this amount. Click yes, and then but they think it's a different amount, and then they're like, oh man, I sold this for $1.20.
Yeah.
I feel like
I've seen that happen before too.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening to like people in the UK where 1.200 is $1,200. Not here, it ain't. So I get people like, especially new people. Oh, you have this? I'll offer this for it. Okay, and then so I could see that happening. But I like that. I would also like outside of the trading, I guess some type of anime. And I want something that's really niche. There's a thing called Fruits Basket. This is like super white girl, super like mid 2000s, like nerdy. It's about this girl that she's living with her grandpa because like her mom died and her grandpa's doing construction on the house, and he's like, oh, can you stay in one of your friends' places for a while? She's like, okay, sure, but she doesn't want to inconvenience her friends, so she stays in like a tent down by the river of this place, and it happens to be on this giant family property, and like they take her in, and like it's a romance novel for like teenage girls, but I was a teenager when I first discovered it, so I feel like it's okay.
Come on, Randy, we know you like that romance stuff. You're under those rom-coms.
I've been getting into those since I've been older. Like, I don't know. I find something sweet about love and two people finding like their person, like they're perfect, especially when they come from different backgrounds. I don't know. I'm getting super soft in my old age.
Embrace it.
It happens. Embrace it, like Ryan said.
Yeah.
But on a little side note, I just wanted to say something about Veve. Last night I was in a local hospital, and this kid was holding a little Spider-Man plushie, and he was crying. He was about to get his blood drawn. He was about 4 or 5 years old. And I'm like, this would be a perfect opportunity to help this kid calm down. And so what I did was I asked the mom, I said, hey, can I show him something? And she goes, yeah, absolutely. So I pulled up the Veve app, and literally right there in the emergency room, I showed him Spider-Man. I had the ultra rare Spider-Man. And he's literally like, shooting the web up. And the kid was just like, he went from screaming bloody murder to like, this is amazing. And the mom's like, what is that? I go, oh, there's an app called Veve. And I mean, the kid was perfectly fine, got the blood drawn. It was perfectly fine, but just was amazed by Spider-Man. So I thought that was pretty cool. Before I forgot, I just wanted to.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's like a fan for life. Like, it's like kids are. Rey Mysterio did really good with this in WWE, where at every match you take off a shirt and give it to a kid, and Rey Mysterio might not remember anyone who he gives that to, but the kids will remember they got a shirt from Rey Mysterio. And I feel like this is the perfect reason why we need transfers back, is because like, oh, hey, if you have like this kid, and yeah, maybe it costs you a little bit personally, but that's a fan for Veve for life. That's a fan. Like if you're on YouTube, whatever, have a channel, they'll be a fan for you for life. And yeah, I mean, you go and you take, and especially everyone loves Spider-Man.
Omar says Spider-Man is king.
Yeah, transfers will be huge because, I got a couple good friends into it just by saying, yeah, download it and I'll send you, a comic or a collectible. You could try it out and show your kids. And it was like a no-brainer for them. They didn't have to buy anything. They just had one in their wallet.
That's perfect. I would have, so there's like stuff that's super cool. Like we have the RoboCop ones. We have we have Jango Fett, we have Boba Fett, we have Darth Vader. But sometimes every now and then you have people like, oh, this means something to me, and for whatever reason. What was the most astounding collectible to you? Like, wow, this gives me feels.
For me, my favorite movie is Jaws. And so Ryan actually called me one day. I was at he was in Georgia and I was at the firehouse, and he's like, dude, there's number 43 Jaws, number 43 mint number that popped up. And I think it was like $175.
Nice.
Yeah. So to me, that's my special NFT, just because, I love the movie Jaws. I've seen it over 100 times. So.
Yeah. For me, I mean, there's a handful of them, obviously, but ever since day one that Marvel 1 came out, I knew the significance of that, and I love the secret rare, obviously, the cover, and I could have bought it at the time. I was like a few $100 short, and I was like, told myself, I'm like, I'll wait. And ever since then, it just was always out of reach. And so it wasn't until recently until I was able to finally, years later, finally pick it up, and I'm gonna hold on to that thing for a long time. So that's my grill.
I love those. I love it when people go and say, "Hey, this is mine. I'm never letting it go," and like they mean it.
Yeah.
Especially when some of the people like Sanjay, Mr. MC1,
right.
He gets something and hyper successful in real life, so it's not going anywhere. Or I think Colonel Stats has like 10,000 comics now. Like, oh my god, wow. Yeah, people go insane. I did a little bit of that where I farmed some comics, but they were like the $2 like Squirrel Girls and like the Death of Captain America, the ones that nobody reads, but I don't know, they were super cheap, like $1.80, $1.90.
Yeah,
so they're fun to get.
It's a good pick.
Yeah, and if there was so we have deals with the USPS, we have deals with now New Zealand's Postal Service. I think there could be some, now that we have our foot in the door with at least one government agency, I feel like we could do multiple. We do like Air Force, like C5s or KC-10s. We could do like Army tanks. We could do, we always see like the normal like fire truck going on, like on TV, movies, whatever. Is there like a super fire truck? Is there a big one that like you have like for super special jobs?
I mean, we have all different sorts of resources. There's, people get fire trucks and fire engines mixed up all the time. Fire trucks is the ladder truck, has a 100-foot aerial ladder on top. Fire engines actually carry hose and they have 500 gallons of water on them.
Yeah.
We have specialized resources like, our urban search and rescue, vehicles and stuff that, can pretty much cut you out of anything. Like another earthquake happens or another 9/11, they have specialized tools to cut people out of like concrete and all sorts of stuff. But yeah, Ryan's favorite is our fire engine, huh, Ryan?
Yeah,
Oh, that's drive it.
That's my car away from home.
Is there a max speed to that? Like, do they cap out at like 50 miles an hour?
Like 72, 73 miles an hour.
Yeah.
So
surprised you go that fast. That's still really fast.
Right. Yeah. For that heavy of a vehicle.
Yeah.
So
that's a weapon. Jesus. When you go into it, how long does it take to get used to like the size and the width and the turning for that? I would not feel comfortable right away driving that.
Yeah. No, it's definitely something you have to, get behind the wheel and put hours in. I'd say a few months to get comfortable, and then years to become, really efficient and knowing all the, your distances and parameters of, because, we, especially in a busy city, I have to squeeze that rig through, very tight spaces, inches on each side, so it takes, I've been driving now for, 16 years. So, but yeah, it takes a long time to get really familiar and comfortable with it.
Yeah, you're super comfortable with it. Damn. That's, I don't think I've done anything for 16 years. I don't have that type of commitment towards anything. Maybe in another like 14 years. Like, oh yeah, I've been doing it for 16 years.
What about collecting Pokemon cards?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, I've been a fan of that. I've always played, although I feel like in the same way that some people, they listen to like the same 50 songs over and over. Like I'll still play the new games, but I'll replay the old games. I'll replay like the old, so I'll collect the old Pokemon cards. I don't really collect anything new.
Right.
So yeah, but that's a good point.
I got a question. So with Pokemon for you, were you Pokemon from like the start? At what age did you get in? And then what age did you realize like the investment side of it?
So I remember, this is going to be a weird one. So how some people like, oh, I remember where I was when like JFK was shot or when 9/11 happened or whenever this is. I remember that Saturday morning where I got up early and I was like, oh, this thing called Pokemon. It was interesting.
How funny.
And it was great. I was in love, hooked immediately. Yeah. And, unfortunately at the time there's no internet, there's no whatever, but then it was like, then finally it caught wildfire at school and everyone was doing that. People had the games like, oh, this is awesome. So I was like 7 when that had come out. And then I didn't realize it was an investment until I was like in my 20s. I had my first business, doing the high risk lending. And I was like, I never got all of the original Pokemon cards. Like I never got the original 150, the original set. It's like, okay, that's my goal. And if I'm going to do something, I got an adult job. So this is 2018. I was like, I'm going to do it just for fun. And I did it because I had appendicitis. And I was like, this was in May of 2018. In February of 2018, I had like a liver issue where I straight up thought that I was going to die. I thought like, oh God, this is it. This is the big one. So after that, I decided like, okay, I want to do stuff that I've never done before. I didn't know what it was going to be when I had the appendicitis, and I was like, okay, this is my second organ failure in like 3 months. I better do this quick. And then it was Pokemon. But even then it was just to collect. It wasn't to split. It wasn't until months later where I was like, oh, there's a couple of patterns here and I can do the, and I know the patterns, and now I've made some formulas for it. And I see the same thing with Veve. This is why I sold all my Pokemon cards. I sold all my Bitcoin. I sold all my Tesla for Veve and OMI, because this is the next big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree 100%.
OMI to the moon.
I know you have a bunch of people in the firehouse that, that love it. You have that one big whale that has like 1,500 things. What's some of the flack you guys have gotten? Have some people said like, this is a little weird, or because like you've spent your life in like one of the most sexy professions and most like well-respected professions, people are just like, oh, there might be something to this, and they listen to you a little more for that.
Yeah, we have one. We have one of my paramedic buddies. He's in and he's out. He kind of wants instant gratification sometimes, but yeah, we love this guy. We razz him every day. So, Ryan, you wanna talk a little bit more about that?
No, I think it's just one of those guys, like you said. He was all excited in the beginning, like we all were. When we would buy something and it would triple in value in like a week, and it was fun. It was exciting. And but as the time goes on, the bear market hits, or it's getting less exciting. I would say on the drops, but we're still all invested and involved. And he just kind of, I don't know, he just lost interest, you could say. And now he's not as much of a believer. But then again, he doesn't do the research that Jason and I have done, and to try to understand the space and where we're at. But yeah, the funny ones you hear are like, oh, well, those are just pictures. I could just screenshot it and I'll have it myself, kind of stuff.
You hear that quite often.
No.
What makes this picture, more special than the picture I can find on the internet? I hear that all the time.
But no, that's why I try to like break it down for people and give them like a little mini drill or mini class on what this stuff kind of is in the background, and the blockchain, and how it's important, it's tied to that. And once I kind of explain it, then they can understand how the significance of it could really take off in the next few years.
I mean, people just have to realize the what the future holds as far as the VV-verse, NFTs, crypto. Whether you like it or not, crypto is the future.
Yeah.
Ryan and I, we see the vision. Ryan explained it to me. I mean, March of 2021, he called me up and he was like, "Hey, I found this company. Check it out. Do your due diligence." And I'm like, "All right." So I looked into it for a couple of weeks. I'm like, "I'm all in." Actually, and I had I wouldn't say a whole bunch, but I had about 3 Bitcoin and I had 100 Ethereum. And so I sold some of that stuff just to get into. Yeah. I invested actually at the right time with all that stuff. But yeah, I sold some of that stuff to get into OMI and, to buy some of the stuff that I have on Veve right now. But definitely Veve is the future. And we were talking about this at the firehouse yesterday. How cool would it be to take your kid to McDonald's or to whatever restaurant and, a little QR code on a Happy Meal and, scan it, and all of a sudden, you got, I mean, how cool would that be?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much extra they had to spend each year with doing the Monopoly stuff. Here's the stickers, giving away prizes, where you could do this, just scan a code, and it's that simple. You do that.
Yeah, easy.
Yeah.
I mean, look how the world is going. I mean, I remember not that long ago, 10, 15 years ago, just going to Blockbuster. I mean, that was a cool thing you did on the weekend, right? Friday, Saturday night.
That was date night.
You went to, it was date night. You went and got your popcorn, your candy, and you went to Blockbuster and you grabbed a VHS tape or, DVD. That stuff's all obsolete now. Everything's digitized. And so everything's streaming, everything's digitized. And so you got to look towards the future. You got to look and, see, I mean, Veve has a lot to offer, and Veve's up here. Other companies are right here, and Ryan and I, we see that. We talk every day, Veve, almost every single day.
Yeah. It's exciting because, I mean, we've all been in it, for 3, 4, 5 years now. And I mean, the roadmap is still, way out in front of us. And that's what excites me, is like, we've barely hit, a quarter of what they have planned for this. And that's what excites me, is like, we were early, but we don't realize how early we were,
Yeah, and that's the thing that Ryan always says is like everybody wants to be early until they're early. Everybody wants to. What's up, Sleeping Comics?
What's up, Sleeping? How you doing, man?
Met him at Decon. Such an awesome guy.
Yeah, he's a great dude. I love him. He was today's or this week's collector from Veve. Like they do it every week.
Congrats.
Nice. Congrats, Stephen.
Let's I have it on a screenshot. I was gonna do it in a video, and I'll do it in a video again as well. But let's see what Sleepin had for his Veve birthday is September of 2021.
Nice.
He had the Amazing Spider-Man #1 as his first collectible. Spider-Man Miles Morales animated is his most prized collectible.
Wow.
Ultimate Fallout #4 Secret Rare is most sentimental. The favorite movie is Avengers 2012. Oh, sleep in, you old softy. And drop wish list is Iron Man and Hulkbuster. So that's the stuff that he wants.
Yeah, he's got a lot of good stuff.
He's got the best stuff. I think that if he wasn't so successful in real life, he could definitely be like the biggest Veve YouTuber that we have. If he had the time to go put it all in on that, he's got so much knowledge, especially on comics.
I've hit him up so many times just about comic questions. I was like, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?
Yeah. I sat there at Decon when you guys were in the pool. We're kicking a poolside with you guys, and I was just picking his brain for like an hour. Hey, what about AF-15? Hey, what about this? He was just unloading on us. So awesome guy.
Yeah, that
local knowledge.
That and I feel like I'm sure Sleepin understands, but I feel like that type of thing, like, hey, a one-on-one with Sleepin, like get an hour with him. That's the type of knowledge that you could gain has got to be worth like $1,000. Like that dinner with Sleepin, eat like probably more than that.
Yeah. Speaking of Sleepin, hey, where's my where's our hats? he only had a select few at yeah. Hey, Sleepin, we want our hats.
I have I got super lucky. I was one of the ones that got the white hat as well.
Cool.
The white secret rare. So Sleepin, don't be mad. I left it at a friend's house. I brought it there. I wanted to show it off. I got super drunk, and then I was just like, oh no, it's there. I know where it is though. So I haven't seen it in a couple weeks. It'll come back. Yeah, I think, and that's the other thing you mentioned before. Hey, where's the other time that you could see these CEOs and COOs of a company, David and Dan, worth like $1 billion each, and they, where else are you going to be able to spend time with someone like that?
Yeah, they're out there mingling with the common folk. That we all have the end goal is collecting and making money.
Yeah, I hope people understand that David and Dan can't just mingle with the common folk like forever. Like there's going to be a cap on that at some point where they're going to be like, hey, we have to step away from the public.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think they've done that slowly over the last year or so, which is good. Gives them a chance to focus and not get wrapped up into too much stuff with us. But yeah, like you said, as soon as they start really mass marketing or advertising all over the place, it's game over. They can't keep up. They won't be able to keep up with everybody.
I hope as it gets super busy, I know you can kind of see them, still at New York or San Diego Comic-Con or at Decon, but I hope as it gets busier for them, they do like one weekend a year, or like, hey, Veve fam, if they do like Veve Con at some point. I don't know where that would be. Like, where's the best spot for that? Is it like Vegas? Is it New York? Is it London? Like, where's the best spot for a Veve-centric Comic-Con?
Yeah, I would say Vegas would be a top 3 spot. Maybe Southern California or New York, probably.
Yeah. Or Georgia.
Yeah, Georgia.
There's somebody asked a couple days ago on the Facebook page, like, hey, where's the, how old is everyone here? And there was a couple people there that were like 18, 19 years old, and they had a good amount of collectibles. They had a decent amount of OMI. What would you guys give to be 18 years old right now in 2023?
I'll be 50 in a couple years, and trust me, I love this game right now. But honestly, if I was 18, 19 years old, I mean, shoot, if I knew then what I know now,
That's the biggest question is, do I get to know what I know now?
Yeah, I mean, you don't get to go back to 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, you get to go be 18 in 2023. I would give up probably most of my OMI for that.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, to be able to talk to people like yourself and, David and Dan and BB Magic and Taps and, everybody else, Sleeping Comics. And I mean, just to gain that knowledge that you guys have on Veve is priceless to me, honestly. So.
I mean, you'll see it. And I when everyone's like struggling, whenever like this, I know it kind of sucks now seeing our portfolios go from up here to down here. But this is people as they get money and as they get famouser and that, they'll step away from community. I feel like this is probably the last year, maybe the last 12 months where everyone's going to be like in this, hey, we're all in this together. And eventually people, will get money, they'll step away. They'll like, I want to be with a family, I want to step away from limelight. Yeah, I know it's rough down here, but although I feel like my vault value has been going up slowly but steadily over the last month.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna miss this. I'm gonna miss the grind. I'm gonna miss I'll be super happy when I have a bunch of money, but I'm just gonna miss
be a millionaire again. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait.
It'll make for good stories.
Yeah.
For sure.
So Randy, what do you think in the next bull run? What do you think OMI will reach? I know people are saying right around a penny. People are saying, I mean, Taps was, a year and a half ago, he was like, 4 or 5 cents. What do you think in your own opinion? What do you think we could hit?
Yeah, Taps pretty conservative, which I really like, because we're, I'm a little bit moon boyish and he's a little bit more conservative, and okay, we'll meet in the middle. You could, not worst case scenario, but let's say my bear case scenario would be, whatever happens in the next election, let's say they're buddy or they have cronies with the SEC, vice versa, and they say, okay, everything's a security except for ETH and Bitcoin. And although at that time, even if that happens, you're most likely just going to be like, security across the board, you just pay a fine, your security, and that's it. So even that's probably not bad. But let's say bear case scenario, you have a World War III, or bear case scenario, you have like something like an actual pandemic where not like 0.05% of people die. Like you actually have a significant amount of people that are dying from the disease. Not that, he crashed on his motorcycle, but he had, this, so he died from this. You could have a black swan scenario or a couple of them, bear market, and even with OMI utility, maybe we only reach half a penny again. Again, bear case scenario, we do like a 9 or 10x, which is still nuts. My base case though is, hey, maybe Veveverse isn't everything we thought it would be in 2 years. Maybe it's 60-70%. Maybe the IP worlds that are there are okay, but it doesn't catch on like wildfire. Maybe the adoption to Web3 is good, but not what we're expecting.
Right.
Base case, I would say, and this is a little leaning more bearish, but I would say 6 to 10 cents. My bull case, this is not like my golden goose scenario, but bull case is, hey, everything hit the way we thought it would. You have trillions going into crypto, mostly into Bitcoin and Ethereum, but obviously that trickles down. And the burns are really good. And people don't care about market cap. People look at it and they say like, oh, we're at 3 cents, we can go to 10 cents. We're at 10 cents, we can go to 30 cents. Or 30 cents, we could go to $1. Like, I think in the next bull cycle, you could see in a bull case scenario like 30 cents. You'd have to have a butt ton of burns. But even if you didn't have any burns, 10 cents would be a $300 billion market cap, which is a lot. And I don't think that's a lot. But I think in the next bull cycle, you have a lot of the top 10 be in the 9 figures or even close to $1 trillion. So I would say for OMI, as we get a lot of burns, say we're down to 250, you could reach at 10 cents, you're at 30 billion. I don't see why you can't reach a $60 billion market cap, which is 20 cents. I think that's with no burn. You get down to 250, 20 cents, 50. You could go up to 50 cents. And that's more of a golden goose scenario, but I would say bull case, you're max 30 cents, which is a ton.
Yeah,
I'd be happy with that.
Yeah, but I would say, if as it goes up to 3 or 4 cents, if you want to go and it's like, hey, I'm going to take 30% off the table or take half off the table. And, if it goes up to 10 cents, then you take another half, another half. Nothing goes up forever. But I'll sell, when I get up to a penny, I'll sell like 20 million OMI, right. Give myself a little bit, and then still have 150 million OMI left, give or take.
Now, what do you think, OMI first or NFTs? What do you think is gonna?
They might go in parallel with each other, just because you have, well, if we're just gonna get OMI staking first, it's not gonna be OMI to NFT. You're gonna have to have the wait list that's happening up, because there's no reason to stake your OMI for more MCP points or more, bronze tickets, unless there are unless that loyalty program is rolled out where, hey, here's a wait list. You're gonna be able to buy wait list tickets with MCP points or with OMI.
Right.
So with that, if it doesn't necessarily, if you're not able to buy actual NFTs with it, just wait list tickets, I would say now OMI might go up first. I thought it would be when we had just OMI to NFT, and that was supposed to be the first thing we got. Okay, NFTs would go up first, but now I think the opposite. I think it would be OMI, because that's a use case, like a big use case.
Okay. Yeah, it'll get a lot more exposure, and people will see the value to it finally.
Yeah, and they're obviously going to get exchanges at some point, but I do think that they're going to start with OMI on the app first before you get major exchanges. You'll have other exchanges, just renegade lists, like, hey guys, I'm tired of waiting. Do that.
I mean, I'm happy with David and Dan right now. I mean, slow and steady wins the race, and I know that's their end game, right? I mean, you can't release the Binance or the Coinbase right off the bat, because it's going to do this and it's just going to bottom out, right? So they want to continue to.
Sleepman says that what's market cap at a $1 billion market cap? What's the price? It'd be about 0.003. So it'd be 0.3 penny at a $1 billion market cap, which is like nothing. So I would, I think with one exchange we get that.
Yeah. Now, what exchange do you use, Randy? Do you use Bit4x?
Yeah, I use Bit4x. A lot of other people use the Sendex, and then, but I think if you're able to get it on the app, I've been trying to do that recently as well, is buy people's OMI on the app, so this way I have enough to go and do, stake and do whatever. You guys have yours just in ledgers, though, right? You don't have it in.
I have mine on my ledger.
Yeah, I use the Trust Wallet.
Yeah,
gotcha. I use a bunch of Trust Wallets as well. If it's not connected to the internet, I feel like it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, especially with you, I mean, I would go ledger, just to be on the safe side. But
I'm just not that. I've seen people do it before, seen videos on it. I don't feel comfortable doing it. Like, God forbid.
Yeah.
Do a couple test runs. We had a buddy run Ryan, or not Ryan, but another buddy of ours that we have on the fire department. He ran me through it, and super easy. It took no time at all. But I mean, I feel a lot safer having it on that ledger, versus on the internet. I mean, look what just happened to Binance.
That's a good point.
So I mean, especially with 200 or 172 million OMI, whatever you have.
Yeah, I mean, it's not on one Trust Wallet; it's on several different Trust Wallets, and then the Veve app. But yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, if I had it on one trust wallet, and God forbid somehow it glitched, and I don't know what I'd do. I'd like sign back for the military and sign for the most dangerous mission and be like, all right, kill me.
Right. For you, Randy, what are your thoughts on land sales and how that's going to affect the token?
It depends on how they do it, and this isn't something I talked about before when I gave my bull case scenario. But you had, I think, Virtua raise like $70 million in a bear market and like outside of Web3, nobody knows what Virtua is. Like they don't even know. Like, even if you're in crypto, of Terra Virtua, it's completely different.
Yeah,
Veve could probably do minimum $100 million, and it wouldn't even be a cap raise. It would just be, hey, use this to buy land, and then the OMI just gets burned. That is so much OMI. So let's say at which was 06, so $60,000 would be 100 million OMI that'd be burned. So 600,000 would be $1 billion OMI that's burned. So $6 million, and again, these are at these prices. 6 million is 10 billion. God, 60 million would be 100 billion OMI that would be burned.
right.
And if they did it right now, they would do that. They would do like a third of the OMI. Thanos snapped out of existence. Unfortunately, they won't do that land sale probably until late 2024. I would say at that time, I guess they definitely do 60 million, but at that point, it's only 10 billion that's burned, in OMI as opposed to, 100 billion. But that's the one thing I will have no problem spending money on or spending OMI on, because that's at that time OMI will have probably done a 10x. So what's easier to do 100x? Is it OMI going to 60 cents, or is it land going from super small? It's definitely the land. I mean, I've seen Andreessen Horowitz, and I'm going to try to get Mark Andreessen on the podcast, because he's very smart, but a lot of his investments, like, okay, we'll do a $60 million funding round with my friend Janine Yorio at Every Realm, and they're buying. They were the largest owner of Sandbox for like 8 months.
Wow.
How much do they buy? Like 60 million in land?
Yeah, and it's not doing anything. Like I told her, like, on the podcast, like, hey, listen, this is probably not a good idea. I made sure to do it on the podcast. Probably why she hasn't come back on yet. The other thing was, they did a $20 million funding round with Cryptoys, which I'm glad they're spreading it around. They want to diversify, but you go and you take a look at what they're spending money on. Okay, it's 50,000 to get iJustine. They spend another, 5 figures to get, Star Wars physicals on, on TikTok. He has 500,000 followers, and it's just not helping. I would much rather see it. A lot of these, when people start to realize that the land sales right now are just .com people raising capital, like from the 2000s. Right. When they realize that, and they're like, oh, okay, well, yeah, Sandbox might have Lil Nas or Lil Baby, whatever. But when they finally realize, oh, hey, Disney and all these other peeps that are that's going to be the big catalyst. And you've already had, I don't know how much I should say, you've already had other countries and other industries come in and say, hey, how much inventory can we buy, from Veve? And they're like, well, you can buy it on the secondary. Thankfully they're being pretty chill, and they're not letting one entity take over. But if you have someplace that thing, I don't know, let's say like for the firehouse, like you guys have a department, I don't know if it's morphed in with the police, but when you go and you have the head of that saying, hey, where are we putting our retirement fund? What's an easier sell? Is it somebody with an ETF fund that says, hey, we're going to buy these pixelated images of monkeys, or we're going to buy the first appearance of Mickey Mouse on the blockchain, like on this entity? I mean, the easier sell would be Mickey Mouse. The easier sell is Batman and Superman.
For sure.
Everyone knows who they are. That's relatable. Monkeys are just not. And this is not just going to happen with like the firefighters fund, police fund, like whatever. This will happen with everyone that has money. Like you have all these ETFs coming on, being applied for, whether it's BlackRock, Fidelity, Deutsche Bank, and these aren't just like, we have $10,000 or $50 million. They have trillions of dollars in assets under management.
Right.
So if they tell their people, hey, 1% of your portfolio should be in Bitcoin, and out of that 1%, in crypto, we should get a couple of these things.
Yeah.
This is not a hard call. This is very easy. This is stupid. This is like everyone should sell everything and buy OMI.
Yeah.
I know I just went on a huge tangent. I know you guys have to go.
No, shoot. I'm all in on OMI,
Oh, all right. Before you guys go, one question. Is there a like a how-to, like a TO, like a, hey, here's what you're supposed to do in this situation, like a book on, I know there is on like, hey, for this type of fire, for this type of thing, there's, do whatever the book says, but do you have anything like that for like alien invasion? Like, hey, this UFO just crashed in Vegas. What
Did you see that?
Yeah, hell yeah. So my God, I went deep down the rabbit hole. I believe.
I mean, 8 to 10 foot, men in the backyard, and and I mean, what's crazy is that on like cop's body cam, he's like, "Hey, my partner saw a flash of light right before this call." So, but yeah, there's nothing for aliens. There's nothing for UFOs. I mean,
I want to say we were just talking about this the other day on the engine, and someone brought up that there was a book back in the day when the department first started that they tried to make, a how-to and a step-by-step on for every type of incident. It wasn't department-wide at the time, I don't think, but they mentioned an alien invasion in that book, and it'd be interesting to see what it said. But this is a long time ago.
Yeah, I agree. I want to believe I would, and I know you guys don't have much time, but is the alien came up to you and said like, hey, either take me to your leader or say, explain to me humans. If you think that you could eloquently explain it enough to a most likely more powerful entity, or if they say like, hey, I don't think I can do this, who would you take them to? Or if you could explain it, how would you explain humans to them?
Oh, geez. I take
him straight to Ryan. I'd be like, he's got you.
That's a great question. Yeah, I don't know.
I just show him the Veve app. I'd be like, here you go.
Yeah. I do my best to explain it, but I don't know what I'd say, where I'd start.
The first thing Jason does is to drug them.
Yeah. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I haven't seen Fire Force, but we should all do an anime night one night when we all hang out.
Yeah.
We'll do.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I have not seen Fire Force.
Me neither.
Meet up at the Comic-Con or Decon this year.
Yeah.
100%. We'll go and do a night out of it. Anything you guys want to say before we bounce?
Yeah, I want to say hi to Dashie. Where's Dashie at?
Oh yeah, Dashie. There it
is.
Dashie. Yeah, no, Randy, just thanks for having us, and you've been solid from day one, putting out videos and keeping the hype going and the info, dropping bombs and getting the bread. So we appreciate it. We watch you at the firehouse all the time, and you're always available for questions. So we enjoy you and we have fun with it.
Thanks, Cavell, for this.
To the moon.
Leave it to the moon.
Thank you guys for coming on. That means so much to me. That you guys do that. You have me on the house playing pickleball. Say for Randy.
Yeah.
Veve Magic. Here you go, Veve Magic. This is for you, David and Dan.
I'll talk to you off camera for a minute. But thank you guys so much. Everyone, thank you guys for joining. This is great. We'll have you on again at some point. I can't wait to hang out with you guys again.
For sure.
Thanks, Randy.